Man, it's so, and I know this is like not nice to say. I mean, really, who cares? This is a whiskey rant, but if Diageo didn't own this distillery, think about how great this distillery would be.
Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy.
This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob.
Welcome to the Whisky Rant Podcast.
It's a little crusty,
It's frustrating.
and it's going to be a little bit of a rant.
I don't understand it. I don't know why.
Some sort of injustice.
Anyway, end rant.
Hello and welcome back to the Whisky Rant Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
Rob,
Tonight we're talking all things Caol Ila,
Caol Ila.
an interesting distillery that you find a lot in independent bottlings, and I think that's what we're going to focus our attention on tonight. What makes Caol Ila so good in the independent bottling market?
Well, we should start by telling them we have 4 different independent Caol Ilas right here.
We do. Let's run down what we got going
So
on
we got
here.
a Gordon MacPhail, which is a 1997 23-year-old, 59.9% ABV sherry cask. So first fill sherry cask.
So this is the new toy in the garage. This one you
Yeah.
just got recently.
23-year-old banger,
Yeah.
right? Then we got this one we've had for a long time. This is like dates back to when you and I were SMWS members.
Yes. The brief period.
Yeah, and we never actually reviewed this bottle.
No?
I'm not sure if you did on your channel, but I know I didn't. Smoked salt orange peel, 53.250 is the Society cask number. It's an 11-year-old refill hogshead ex-bourbon,
Okay.
58.4% ABV.
Yep.
SMWS.
It's been a while since I've tried this one, so I'm going to be very interested to go back and revisit it because I remember it being very, very nice.
Yeah, and this one I haven't touched very much at all because I was waiting for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Valencian Mallet, 52.9%, 11 years old as well. So these are both 11 years old.
Interesting.
This is aged in a sherry cask. It doesn't say refill, but we can assume that it is.
Judging by the color, it's
Based on
very,
the color.
very light.
Yeah.
If you looked at it, you would say ex-bourbon for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
And then the last one here is a Malt Barn, which is 13 years old, 54.5% ABV. None of these are added color or chill filtration, which is great about independent bottlers because I don't really think there are very many independent bottlers that add color or chill filter their whiskeys. Ex-bourbon cask. So this is the only one in an ex-bourbon cask.
Okay.
Oh no, this one was as well. Sorry. So there's 2 and 2.
2 ex-bourbons, 2 sherries,
Yeah.
one with definitely more sherry influence than the others. So,
Yeah.
all right. Caol Ila, Isla Distillery, Diageo product, one of the main components in the Johnny Walker line that
Yeah.
adds a little smoky flavor to their whiskeys. Huge production,
Yeah.
6.5 million liters per year.
Massive.
So very big, and you do see a lot of it in the independent bottling market. So let's speculate. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so I mean, just based on sheer production numbers would be a good reason.
Yeah.
We have a funny little Caol Ila story, actually, you and I.
Oh.
Remember the first tasting that I did at the Caledonian?
Yeah.
We popped a bottle of, it was a Gordon MacPhail, like 13 years old. It was a Caol Ila, and it sent us on a wild goose chase to find.
Yes.
Yeah. So you ended up finding it.
Yeah.
And we were like in love with that bottle.
That was a really good one. It was the part of the Cask Strength series, I think,
Yes.
or the Connoisseur's Choice. I can't remember.
Yep.
I think it was the Cask Strength
Yeah,
series.
Cask Strength series, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just this one batch, and it was like the best Caol Ila we've ever had at that point in
At
time,
that
for
point.
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And for a while, we kept buying up some Caol Ilas because
Yes.
we were like, we wanted to replicate that taste.
Yeah, very interesting profile, Caol Ila, and it is very recognizable. It does stand out from Isla for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be a good test tonight is to see if, you know, we're having 4 different types of Caol Ila. Do they taste like they're all from the same distillery?
Yeah.
Or is it, you know, on the nose, you do get that Caol Ila kind of peat,
For sure.
which you don't hear too many people describing. You know what a Lafroy peat is. You know what an Ardbeg peat is. You know what like Octomore peat is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, this peat to me, like, it comes off as kind of this, like, kind of chalky kind of element to it.
Okay.
It's got this, like, charcoal, chalk,
Yep.
kind of, like, dankness. It is its own thing, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's like a farmy, charcoaly version of a Lafroig. Like,
Okay.
dial back, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I get.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, you take a look at like different blended malts or blends in general or
Yeah.
whatever, if
Yeah.
it's got some smoke aspect to it, there's a good chance that you find some Caol Ila in there.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple reasons for it. I think, like we said earlier, it's due in fact to the production amount that they don't mind sharing some of their whiskey, their new make, because there's so much of it, and they're not really bottling too many OBs,
That's true.
right? Like, how many OBs does Caol Ila do? They do their standard 12-year-old.
They do a 12, they do a Distiller's Edition.
They do a Distiller's Edition. They do the occasional unpeated, which I don't even know when the last time they released it.
Yeah, because we had some unpeateds, a 15 and a 17 from them.
And an 18.
And an 18, that was a while ago. Well,
Yeah.
no, the 18 official bottling is peated.
The 18 official bottling.
Yes.
But there's an unpeated version that's cask strength.
Okay.
So the 18 official bottling, I believe, is 43%.
Yeah,
And so is the 12.
correct.
Right.
And they have a 25 that comes out pretty regularly
They
as
have
well.
a 25 as well. And really, I'm not very familiar with their original bottlings, to be honest with you. I've tried the 12. I've never tried the 18.
Yeah.
And I've never tried the 25, I don't think. I think at one point I purchased the 30. We had the 30.
Yes. The 30 was nice.
That was very good. That was
So-
cask strength.
And I have drank through all of those, the 12, the 18, the 25. But the problem is that they bottle it at a low ABV, right? Those are 43%
Yeah.
on the 12, the 18. And just not cutting it, as far as I'm concerned.
No, the Caol Ila's, I think what makes them great, and a lot of independent bottlers really want to get Caol Ila in their barrels, is that it's easily manipulated in a way. You know what I mean? Like, the sherry cask has done some work in this one over here.
Yeah.
You know, it's very light. It's very approachable, even at a younger age. Like, these are not heavily peated whiskeys at all. I wouldn't say.
Correct, yeah. And you're right. Like, you can throw Caol Ila into pretty much anything.
Yeah.
If it's refill sherry, like obviously this refill sherry Valiant Mallet, it's a very, very refill sherry.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Like, it's similar in color to the other two, which are bourbon cask, and they're refill bourbon cask, right? So
It's the lightest whiskey here, is it not?
it might be. Yeah. It might actually be the lightest. You're right.
So maybe it's one of those, I mean, you know, we're just talking from our experience drinking, but maybe it is one of those malts that, you know, is very malleable as far as like an independent bottler is concerned, a blender is concerned. You can kind of play with it and do lots of different things.
It's so on the palate. Have you tasted all these yet or no?
Mm-mm.
The malt barn is so light, so lemon forward, very, very approachable.
Yeah.
Yours are in order from the exact way you see it on the...
Correct.
Right. So on my end, here's the malt barn, then the Valiant Mallet, then the SMWS, and then the Gordon MacPhail. So my wife left her water cup down here that I decided to use to cleanse my palate.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No one's buying that. That's yours for sure.
Yeah, it's my cup.
What's that scene from Zoolander where they're in the Jeep drinking their freaking Orange Julius or whatever it is?
You send my soul sky high when your loving starts.
That's awesome.
You stole it from them.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. I don't feel bad because it was you that decided to put it in. Usually it's me like, can you...
You're like, go find a clip on the internet and put it into the edit. I'm like, oh great, that's gonna take a while, thank you. Although they're always pretty funny. So this 23-year-old, this is phenomenal. So it's opened up nicely now.
Yeah, so we should say, little disclaimer, these have been open on my bar for over a year.
Yeah.
This
And the
SMWS one
a
has been
couple.
open for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? This we just got tonight. So we've already actually had some experience with it earlier. We had a little bit while we were watching the game, and now we're revisiting it.
And for 23 years, you would think that the peat profile would have a lot of time to thin out, and it's very still vibrant.
Yeah, it's you would. My guess is they use one of their more peated like expressions, or one of the new makes that just happen to be a little bit more peated or tasted a little bit more peated, because this carried that peat throughout.
It did. Yeah.
Compared to some of these other ones that it's like, the malt barn is not as peated, which is only 13 years old, right? The malt barn is, I think out of the other three, the malt barn might be my favorite. But, I mean, the age, the quality of cask on this Gordon MacPhail first fill sherry, unbelievable. Like, how good is that malt barn though? Super light. Like, you would not expect that to be 54.5% ABV.
Yeah, that's true. None of these really drink their ABV. None of them are hot, is what I'm saying.
None of them are hot. They are all four like really approachable. I would say that the Valencia Mallet might taste the most peated.
Yeah, that's good. They're all very nice, and they're like the peat from Caol Ila. It's not as strong as like a Lefroy or an Ardbeg.
No.
It is maybe it's not like a beginner's peat, but it's like if you're going to Isla, it's on the lower end of like intensity for the peat.
Man, it's so, and I know this is like not nice to say. I mean, really, who cares? This is a whiskey rant, but if Diageo didn't own this distillery, think about how great this distillery would. Like, no,
Yeah.
for real, right? Like, we're talking about a distillery that pumps out all sorts of whiskey. If 1 million liters out of their 6 million liters a year went into virgin oak, and then another million went into sherry, and then like you just experimented a little bit with like.
I feel like this is just Diageo's workhorse Isla Distillery. This like you're gonna make spirit and we're gonna put it in the Johnny Walker. We're gonna put it into all the other blends. We're gonna sell off so much of the spirit, right?
Yep.
But like you're right. Like they should feel a little. I mean, if that's their thing, then that's their thing. But when every independent bottler can take your stuff and make it so much better than your official bottlings, you gotta feel that. You gotta feel that.
You should, right? I mean, like, there's no reason why Caol Ila should not be a big player in the game.
And like, we're not the only ones who say that it's better in the independent bottling market. Everyone says that.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you talk to anyone, like, look at Ralphie's videos. If he's done an independent bottling of Caol Ila, he'll straight up tell you, like, everyone knows that the independent bottling market does Caol Ila better than Caol Ila does Caol Ila.
Yeah. And it's only because their original bottlings are 43%.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're tasty. They're charging $90 for a 12-year-old versus their cousin.
At the LCBO, it's 98 now.
Oh, it's 98.
Yeah.
But okay, so their cousin up the street on Isla, Lagavulin, is charging how much for a 12-year-old now?
Oh, yeah.
$250 bucks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why not bottle it at 46, unchill filtered, no added color.
Yeah.
Start paying attention to your casking, right? Because I mean, maybe that's why they're able to distill so much, is that half of it's not going to them.
Yeah.
They're going to send out a bunch off, like you said, to Johnny Walker. They're sending a bunch off to a whole bunch of different independent bottlers, which leaves very little left for themselves.
Yeah.
Fine. But, if I came upon some money and I was looking to buy a distillery, this would be one I'd consider.
You know what? Like Caol Ila, even though we've said some things about them, they do serve a purpose, and I'm glad that they're still selling spirit to different people, because it doesn't happen so much anymore, right?
No, you're losing
we
a lot.
talked to Gordon and MacPhail, right? And like they're like, distilleries that we used to buy spirit off of aren't selling it to us anymore.
Yeah,
so it's
sure.
like, what are you left with?
Yeah,
Like,
there's
think
not
about
much.
Compass Box. Like, they get a lot of stuff from Caol Ila. You know, even the Glenallachie blended malts.
Mm-hmm.
That was rumored with some Glenallachie in it as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we don't have them, like, where are these guys getting Isla style whiskey from? Like, it's Ardbeg, I doubt, is selling anything.
You're right. I think it's possible that McNair's has Caol Ila in it. They say there's some Lefroy, maybe some Port Charlotte, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Caol Ila. And then you're right. The Compass Box is using a ton of Caol Ila stuff. It's
Absolutely.
either Caol Ila or Clynelish in their base.
Yeah.
Why? Because they probably can buy the most of that kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
that's 100% bang on. These are all good. These are all good.
They're all good in their own respect. I mean, the 23 is in a class of its own, but
course.
obviously it's in a price point of its own as well.
Exactly. I mean, I gotta say, price-wise, I think this came in just over $200.
Okay.
So for
200 bucks
20
for a 23-year-old cask strength?
Yeah, it was like, I want to say it was like 280. Sorry, I lied. It was closer to 300
Closer to
bucks.
300.
But 23 years old, single cask, first fill sherry, cask strength.
Yeah.
What's a 25-year-old go for nowadays?
Oh, official bottling 25?
Minimum $500.
Probably.
What's less?
Yeah.
Is there any that are even coming in at 500 anymore? Like maybe Glenfarclas?
Glenfarclas was
three
always
something.
like the most budget
Yeah.
25-year-old.
Yeah. I think Glenfarclas 25-year-old was one of the first reviews I've ever done on my channel, and that's only because it was affordable early on. It was like just under $200 originally. You know, so
I remember paying $125 US for a Glenfarclas 25,
there you go.
right?
Any of these need water?
Yeah, I don't think water will hurt any of these, and then probably would enhance them all. But yeah, very, very good. And you know what? It's not hard to find an independent bottling of Caol Ila either, you know?
No, and well, so let's talk price a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
said, the Gordon MacPhail is going to be my favorite. Obviously, it's double the rest of them, but we're talking double the age as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're looking at 280, 285 Canadian. That's for me definitely bang on worth it. Like you're not getting this quality out of the majority of 25-year-olds you buy, and you're not getting anywhere near that price.
Judging on the neck pour, 1,000% worth it.
Yeah.
Because like I know for a fact this thing is going to round out and be
yeah.
so money.
Yeah, it's 59.9% at 23 years old. Like
Yeah.
that's not small,
Absolutely.
right? This has been open for a bunch of years. I would say that this is probably my least favorite of the four. And we're talking, SMWS is not cheap. Because you're paying a membership fee every year.
Right.
And then this bottle I think was like at least $150.
Yeah.
So this was about 120. Bought a few years later. Like when did we buy this?
If it was one of the first ones we bought, that's 5 years ago probably.
So this is 11 years old, and it was distilled in July of 2006. So we bought this in 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, 5 years ago.
Yeah. So, and then
6 years ago.
this Valentin Mallet I think is a 2020. Yeah, 2020. But I bought it like last year sometime from Vine Arts.
That's nice.
The malt barn I've been hitting the hardest, and that's 2020 as well bottling.
Okay, so let's just let's take the 23 out of the equation.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously our favorite.
Yeah.
But of the other three, these two are the exact same age at 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And do we know the age of this?
These two are the same age at 11.
Okay.
This is 13.
Okay.
So 2 years older. But just like a completely different whiskey than the other three.
Yeah, that malt burn, very, very nice. Get a really nice lemon note on that. I get every kind of lemon, like lemon
Yes.
zest,
Yes.
lemon juice, lemon meringue pie,
Lemon cake.
yeah, like a lemon loaf. It's kind of very much like, you know how like Ardbeg 10 gives you that lemon note?
Yeah.
It's similar to that as far as like when you get that citrus with the peat.
Yeah. The Valencian Mallet is it definitely benefits from having a little bit of water. It's a very like thick, viscous kind of whiskey.
Yeah. I feel like the Valencian Mallet, it very much like has more of this distillate shining through. I feel like you get more distillate. I get more kind of like that malty characteristic with this one.
Yeah, I was even gonna say, like, you used the word, we were drinking a whiskey a week or two ago, and you said like it's got this like agave kind of taste. And I get that from the Valencian Mallet a little bit, which is not a bad thing. It just kind of tastes a little agave, like that sweetness and that like almost like what you would expect for like a tequila to kind of taste like, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're both big fans of agave spirits, so
Yeah.
it's a good thing for us.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I would say there's also this like maybe it's just like in my head that this is an Italian independent bottler, Valencian Mallet, but I get this almost like a motto kind of like.
I thought you were gonna say grappa for a second. I love it when you say grappa.
No, I don't get grappa, but
Say grappa to me.
yeah, no, I'm getting like an amato, like an aperitivo kind of like what's a good example? Like Aperol kind of,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think I'm right there with you. I think that the Valencian Mallet and the Malt Barn are outshining the Scotch Whiskey, Scotch Malt
Yeah,
Whiskey
I think so
Association
too.
bottling.
I think the easiest pour and play, even including this so far, is the Malt Barn.
Okay.
The Malt Barn is so easy to drink.
Yeah.
It's almost too easy to drink, right? With water, I would actually say that it becomes too easy to drink. You almost want to leave this neat because it's better. I think the Valencian Mallet benefited from being like having a touch of water.
I would think they all benefited from water, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't tried the Gordon MacPhail with water. Just take a sip of.
And like, we're not guys who usually add water to whiskey.
Rarely.
We really do. I feel like when we taste something that's like, you know, this, we kind of know, right? If it's slightly tight, you kind of can tell if water is going to benefit a whiskey or not.
I think
right?
so too. I think we've been pretty much on the same wavelength playing field where it comes to like we only add water when we think it's gonna bring a new element that we need.
Yeah, and I think like a good starting point is like cask strength peated. You can always probably add water to those whiskeys.
Oh yeah.
You know.
This benefited quite a bit because it was great when we started, and now it's drinking like beautiful.
It's like buttery sweetness on the nose.
James has a word he calls, like when he really likes a whiskey, he's like, how crushable, like this is so crushable. And he's right, he's bang on. This is like completely crushable. That's one of those whiskeys that you'll see on the side and it'll be like down to here by the time I get to the review because
Yeah.
it's really good. I love that chocolate note that came out with water.
And like you said, first fill sherry cask on this at 23 years. You don't see that with Caol Ila very often, right? You see a lot of like refill sherry, obviously, in ex-bourbon.
Yeah.
But to be a first fill, I mean, Gordon MacPhail does things differently than everyone else.
Absolutely.
Because I think like they have stock and they've been doing it for a very long time.
Right. How good is, like, can we just take a second and talk about their cask like selection and the use of like what cask, like this doesn't come off as something modern sherry.
No.
And the reason it doesn't is a first fill modern sherry, what does it look like nowadays?
Black.
It's black.
Coca-Cola.
It's yeah, and that's not a real thing. That's manufactured. Something's happening there. They're trying the cask. They're probably pouring it in a vat, and then for the last year, it's the same cask.
Right.
It's still first fill sherry, but they're trying the shit out of it to get this like crazy color, and then they're putting it back in. But it does affect the whiskey.
Yeah.
It's either hit or miss. But at that point, they didn't touch this.
Yeah.
They poured this in a first fill cask 23 years ago, and they left it for 23 years, and that's what it should look like. This is what a first fill cask should look like.
Man.
Isn't that disappointing? Like
I would love to like pick Richard's brain about this one, because like I wonder how much Caol Ila they have, because I'm sure they have lots, and like what other casks do you have it in? You know?
Oh, I would assume that in the last 10 years they've really started to play with their new options, because when did the Scotch, like who makes the rules for Scotch, again I can't remember what the word, like I always get it mixed up with these guys. Scotch Whisky Society?
Scotch Whisky, the Association.
Yeah. When did they decide that you can use like tequila casks and like apple brandy casks and all that stuff? That happened like in the last 5 years or 10 years?
I don't know. Are you gonna make me research it and put it in?
Well,
yeah.
I can do that kind of quickly right now, but I feel like it wasn't that long ago. Guaranteed they're going to be experimenting with that. And what are they going to do that with? The stuff that they get the most of.
Yeah.
So Caol Ila you're going to see in an apple brandy cask in 10 years.
Right.
You're going to see Caol Ila in a mezcal or a tequila cask in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, like, we see brandy cask maturation in whiskey in general throughout the landscape.
Yep.
Tequila cask, I don't know. Like, I don't think we see too much, do we?
So there was...
Because usually a tequila cask, like, if they're maturing, it's usually an ex-bourbon cask, right? They usually take ex-bourbon for the anejos or whatever else.
So there's a Kilholman that's a mezcal cask. Let's look it up. Scotch aged.
The thing about like mezcal is like you're getting a little bit of smoky element with that already. To put that to use a peated whiskey to put into a mezcal cask, who knows what could happen? It could be terrible.
Yeah.
It could be good.
Well, Chivas has just announced their new expression that has undergone a final period of maturation in tequila casks. So that's coming out soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tricky. Tequila cask will be very, very tricky because like you don't want too much cask influence. I think if you did like something like virgin oak and tequila cask, maybe you'll get something nice.
Yeah, I could see that. I think maybe it's got to be like right at the end to just finish it.
Right.
I think something like that.
It's got to be a really quick hit because like you just want a subtle, very, very subtle influence from that.
Yeah, and I think it would have to be an older tequila that just came out of
like, think about it. If it was great and it worked, we would see more of it, but we don't, right?
Well, it's new, right? Like that's what I was trying to figure out. I just can't remember how.
It's new for Scotch whiskey, but like it's not new for anyone else. Like anyone could be doing it at any time. You know, it's not like
true.
It's not like agave spirits or something new.
What got better in this glass over time? Out of the three on this side here.
I would probably say the Valanche.
Yeah.
I do really like it, and I do like it because it does display more of the spirit. It is very spirit driven, this one.
Yeah, but I just take a sip of the SMWS one more time.
Yeah, there's something about the SMWS on the finish that I'm not 100% on board with.
Okay, it's sweeter than the other two, I find. It's a little sweeter.
Yeah, there's like this little bit of sharpness, I think, on the finish for me. But if I had to rank them, not including the 23 because that's obviously the best, I would probably go Malt Barn, then Valich, but very, very close, and then SMWS would come in third for me.
Yeah, I think we're completely aligned. Yeah, that Malt Barn is really good. The Valentia Mallet is a very close second.
So for our American viewers, Malt Barn is an independent bottler that brings stuff into Canada.
I think so.
Do they have a U.S. distribution? I don't know.
There's an
I think
umbrella.
they do.
It's an umbrella.
I think they do.
There's a couple different. They're a whiskey agency brand, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think whiskey agency goes into the U.S. Do they
Okay.
not? Or I could be wrong about that, but
I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they do operate in Canada,
yeah.
right? Because we know Igor.
Yeah, Igor. He works with Malt Barn, Valentia Mallet, Whiskey Agency. I don't know if Malt Barn and Whiskey Agency are interchangeable though. I think
Okay.
they might be. Yeah. See, first fill sherry butt, cask number 12,494. This is really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is really good. 1997. So that means this was bottled in like late 2020, early 2021. So it's already been bottled for a couple of years. But that does happen when we get Gordon MacPhail. Like usually if it's bottled for Canada, we don't get it for at least a year after it's been bottled.
And that's just like red tape, shipping, etc., etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
that's part of it. I think once
The
we get
labels,
to try them
right?
and figure out which ones we're choosing or whatever, it's already been bottled.
Yeah.
I think Highland Park does that as well. So, as far as what do you think it would take to buy a distillery like Caol Ila off of Diageo?
They're not going to sell it. They can't.
I think they wouldn't just because it fuels too many of their other.
It feels too much,
Yeah.
right? Like, what are they going to do? Do all Talisker for their peated expression? They need a little bit of this.
Yeah.
They do need it. They
And they're not going to use
1000% need it.
Lagavulin because Lagavulin they make too much money on the single malt,
I agree.
right?
Yeah.
Talisker they make a lot of money on their single malt as well now. So
If you had to guess, as far as like Diageo using spirit, peated spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and like putting it throughout their brands, it's got to be Caol Ila 1, Talisker 2, right?
a great indication as to how they feel about this brand is they have yet to bottle a special release, annual special release of Caol Ila, right? They haven't done it. They've done it with Singleton. They've done it with, like we said, Talisker, Lagavulin.
Yeah.
They've done it with Klein Leash. They've done it with Cragganmore even, but they haven't
They
done
haven't
it with
done it with
Caol
Caol
Ila.
Ila. That's a great point.
Right?
It hasn't found their way into their very artistic labels for
Yeah.
their special releases.
Which is, I
Yeah.
feel a little bit disappointing because other people are doing great things with that their whiskey technically,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah. 100%.
it's kind of sad. Kind of sad.
Leave us a comment down below. If you have an independent bottle of Caol Ila that you like a lot, throw it in the comments.
Yeah, throw it in the comments. Let's get a little bit of a, I don't know, list going here.
Sure.
That people can go to and try to find some good quality Caol Ila if they've never tried Caol Ila.
And if you've drank through so much independent bottling Caol Ila, who's doing it best? What independent bottler is throwing out consistently good Caol Ila year after year, release after release?
Who's doing it best?
I mean, Gordon MacPhail.
Gordon MacPhail's doing it best.
For us, I
For
mean,
us. Well,
100%.
so far, the best two Caol Ilas we've had.
Yeah.
Arguably the original bottling of that 18-year-old unpeated is up there,
Yeah.
for sure. But aside from that, Gordon MacPhail has the next two.
Yeah.
This and that one that
The
we
Cask
tried.
Strength series. I think it was
13-year-old.
like a 2008 maybe or something like that.
2008,
Or 2007. It was one of those years.
one of those.
It was phenomenal.
2000, yeah, something like that.
Really, really good.
It was excellent. Yeah, that's it.
Leave us your comments about Caol Ila down below. Very much interested to hear what you guys have to say about this distillery.
Should we really quickly score these? Could we score this? Could you score these?
Sure.
I guess we can go ballpark for like most of them. This one we can save for another night because it's a neck pour.
Okay.
So let's go with these three because they've been
Sure.
sitting on the bar for a long
Okay.
time.
Yeah, 100%. The malt barn for me is 87. The Valiant Mallet is 86.5. And the SMWS, I'm going to go 83, I think, on that. And the Gordon MacPhail, it's approaching 90. It's getting up to that 90 level for me, and I think it will be at that 90 score.
Yeah, it's very close.
When it gets to the money zone in the bottle, for sure.
Yeah, we'll review this at a future date.
Sure.
For now, you have Jeremy's scores. I'm gonna go with Jeremy. 87 on this one. I'm gonna go on the Valiant Mallet. I'm gonna go 87 as well. I think I like the Malt Barn better, but I think some nights I would turn to the Valiant Mallet more because it offers something a little different, maybe a little bit more peat. And then I think this is an 84 for me, the SMWS.
Right. Okay. Well, we're pretty much right there
Yeah,
on all of them. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, Caol Ila. Independent bottlings do it better than the officials. What other distillery does that? Where the independent bottling does it better than the distillery? Without question. Without question.
That's tough because I mean now that it would have to be you'd have to go back to Diageo,
Yeah.
right?
Would it be Kleinleash?
I think Kleinleash.
It's gotta be
maybe
Kleinleash, right?
Crangamore,
Yeah.
right?
It's gotta be Kleinleash because Kleinleash what do they have? They have the 14 in the Distillers edition. Is is that it? Is their core range?
Probably Ben Nevis.
Yeah.
Ben Nevis or there's another one. It starts with a B, but it's gonna haunt me. But those are the ones that you always see in independent bottlers.
Yeah.
They're kind of Ben Nevis. People rave about their OBs. Have you ever tried a Ben Nevis OB?
I mean, maybe an old 10? I don't know.
I don't remember tasting the 10, and
A very old 10 that I
That's
maybe
the
had
only one.
one sip of. Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a bottle of it.
yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a few out there.
Leave us a comment down below. Throw up a like if you enjoyed the Whisky Rant podcast, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.